Photoshop is now running natively on Apple's M1 Max. I think this is it speaks volumes to the improvements that Apple's been able to do with creating their own processors with their own silicone process and everything like that. There was a lot of skepticism when they came out with the M1 processors because they made a lot of big claims and they never really made processors before. But according to this article, they're saying that with the M1 Max, compared to running on an Intel, these ones are running 1.5 times faster. Now, that's insane to me for a company to come in and dominate process in a platform they never played in before. Like Intel, what are you doing right now? Like honestly, you have AMD that's been making leaps and bounds in regards to what they've been able to accomplish, and now Apple just comes in with their own processors and they're like, Intel who?
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking at it because at first I know so we kind of have a pre-show before we actually get into the whole topics. We don't really talk about it, but we kind of throw these articles up. And the first thing we said was, I thought this was already on Apple products. But apparently it wasn't. This thing says Lightroom was the first Adobe creative app to make the leap to Apple Silicon, and now the much anticipated release for Photoshop is here. So it seems like they're going to start rolling out a lot of stuff now into there.
So maybe because again, I've never owned an Apple product, I can't speak too much about it, but Apple products used to be powered by Intel chips. So maybe my assumption is Adobe was working on Apple products using the Intel processors. But once they made their switch to their own processors, there was an incompatibility.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. It makes sense because you gotta, not only when you're building your own, like your own chip, your own, okay, put it this way: if you build your computer and you're just like, hey, I want to build this computer and I want to be sure it plays games and it does this. The first thing I did when I built my very first computer was I asked the question, will this be able to play StarCraft in ultra mode? I literally went into Fry's. No, wait, it wasn't Fry's. It was Micro Center. I went into Micro Center and the guy was asking me, like, because I literally went in there and I was already all about AMD, man. Like, I didn't want anything to do with Intel. I already knew. I'm like, dude, AMD is more powerful. Like, people are sleeping on it. It's like a fourth of the price back then. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? That's the way to do it. And the guy that was behind the counter, he was just like, you do a lot of your researches, huh? I was like, dude, AMD is pretty nice. He's just like, AMD is going to be like, they're going to eventually boot Intel to the side. People are going to say AMD is much better, which is, it's been happening now for a few years now.
Yeah.
So what's funny was I went in and I was playing, Warcraft 2, I think, or Warcraft 3.
Oh, one of my all-time favorite games. Those original Warcrafts, back when you had to launch it through DOS. Oh my god, sweet memories.
Yeah,
glittering little flies. I still remember the cheat codes.
Yep. This is like power overwhelming. This was like early 2000s. They had like expansion. They started to do the expansion packs.
Yeah.
This was before World of Warcraft, guys.
Yes,
so,
yes.
And StarCraft came out, and I'm just like, this is cool. I couldn't play it in ultra mode though. I had to play it in like standard definition. And then they came out with their expansion, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna build me a computer. And I went into Micro Center and I said, look, the specs for this game is this. I just started to list everything. And it's very similar to this Photoshop thing for their M1 chip. It's they're building something and they don't know what it's going to be compatible with. Well, obviously they're testing things out. So I'm pretty sure it was one of those things that they said, hey, we're building this and eventually it's going to be compatible with Photoshop. Eventually it'll be running much faster, much better than the previous Intel. Just like me building my computer way back in the day, I'm just like, hey, this is what I want. And I told him, I want this thing future proof. I want this thing future proof. That actually, you know that graphics card that I sent you?
Yeah.
That graphics card, I don't even think was out in the market yet. And
no,
I want to
then. No.
Not back then. It wasn't out in the market. And I had one that was like 2 steps below that one.
Was
and
it
the
NVIDIA
guy,
or was it Voodoo?
It was NVIDIA.
It was NVIDIA. Okay.
Yeah, it was NVIDIA chip and NVIDIA graphics card. And he said, there's this card that we're going to be getting to test within a few years. And now, truth be told, the guy that I was talking to behind the counter was actually a friend of mine. We went to school together. He said, dude, he was like, the new that one that I sent you, he's like, we're gonna actually be getting this to test out and to put it out and then to set up our stuff, and it probably won't be out for a little bit longer. He called me a year and a half later, and this was like maybe like 2 years before it was actually like out to launch, and he's just like, hey, we have some in stock if you want to come pick one up. He was a manager. He was a manager at that point. And I'm just like, wait, are you serious? He's like, dude, just don't say nothing to nobody. So I ended up getting that, and I'm just like, dude, this thing is freaking nuts. It like that back in, I think it was like 2007, 8, 9. Oh man, I can't remember when it was. I think that came out in 2010, right?
Somewhere around there. This is NVIDIA 1060. It's not like, I mean, it's old, but like that's 10 years ago. I don't think it's 10 years old.
Look it up when it first came out, dude. Because they were coming out with some prototypes, and they were coming out with some stuff that they were sending out to Micro Center. And one of the guys, the manager, my buddy, ended up giving me one of them, and I'm like, dude. And this was out before, it wasn't even out yet. They were just there to test and play, pretty much.
So the 1060s came out in 2016.
The 1060, is that the one that I sent you?
Yeah. This is probably the one before it then.
It probably was the one before then. Yeah, well, it's pretty, it takes time. Moreover, the story is with all these chips and all this stuff, it takes time. So if anybody's out there in the market and they're looking for this, the new MacBooks with the M1s and nothing's working on them, it's because of that. You know, so keep your panties, don't keep your panties in a bunch, just relax. Jeez. Okay. Next thing is the Asus. I hear people say Asus and Asus. I don't know what it is. Tell us in the comment section below. Is it Asus? ASUS? Is it pronounced Asus?
Asus.
Or Asus? Like, is it I guess, how would you like watch? Somebody's gonna say like, no, you pronounce it Asus, and it's gonna, or Asus, it's gonna be ASUS. Well, how do you pronounce that? So is it say Zeus, Asus, put the word Zeus, or put us like Asus?
I'm going with Zeus. We'll start a poll.
Let's start a poll. Asus. I'm going with Asus. So Asus is coming up with a phone here, the Phone 5 Ultimate, and they're saying in one word, overkill. It's got like an OLED screen. I'm like, what?
Yo, the ROG phones are absolutely insane. Some of them come with fans and all kinds of stuff. I love them.
Bro, this has multiple it has multiple USB-C's ports.
Yeah, because you need one for the fan, because they have one. Okay, I've been a fan of Asus phones for a long time. I one of the first Asus phones I ever owned was a Zenfone 2, and that actually, one of the reasons I got it was because it had an Intel processor. It wasn't using Snapdragon, so I was like, this is interesting, and I've always kind of followed them. But they've been doing some really interesting stuff when it comes to gaming. And that, see right there, how it has the charging port on the side?
Mm-hmm.
The reason is so that when you're gaming it and you're holding it, horizontally, that the cable's not getting in the way of your hands. Smart.
So it looks, yeah. So, okay. So here's my phone. If I turn it sideways down here at the bottom and like in the middle, it looks like that's where the cord's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have another one where if you flip it up, it's going to be here on the side versus the center. So that's kind of crazy. That's kind of, I don't know.
Dude, you see the specs on this thing?
I was reading it earlier. I'm trying to like, oh, here it is.
Right? Yeah, look at this. This is insane.
The RAM, it's using 16 gigs at LPDDR5. Storage, it starts the ultimate 512 gigs. That's awesome. The 16 gigs LPDDR5. That's the phone Pro. The phone 5, the ultimate, is 18 gigs at LPDDR5. And they're all using Snapdragon 888. They're all using Android 11. It's a 6.7-inch screen, 244/8 by 1080 OLED with 144 hertz refresh rate. This is nuts, dude. Monochromatic. It says ROG Vision support. Yes, monochromatic. This is crazy, dude. I've never seen a phone that has like a cooler on it, a fan on it.
Yeah. I think it's actually water cooled as well too, but I could be wrong.
So they're saying the ROG
Yeah, ROG, Republic of Gamers.
The ROG Phone 5 Ultimate is a better gaming phone than its predecessors, as well as the competitive device I've started so far from the Xiaomi's Black Shark. Now, when you do have these phones, when you have these gaming phones, I know some people game like Fortnite, for example. What's the other one? PUBG,
yeah.
PUBG. What other games are people super hardcore about with gaming? Like, I don't know. Every time I think of gaming, I'm always thinking like, I want a big screen. I want my TV. I think of PlayStation or Xbox or PC or Nintendo. You know, now we're slowly starting to think of like, oh, Google Stadia, like to fire people, Amazon Luna, the NVIDIA Shield or NVIDIA Experience. There's like a lot of stuff that they're moving into cloud gaming. But when you think about cell phone games, PUBG is the first one that sticks out like a sore thumb. Like every time I hear that, or Call of Duty.
I play Call of Duty on my phone.
I hear that a lot. A lot of people say caught on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard Fortnite, but outside of those three games, what is a big game for phones, I guess?
Well, you can also use the xCloud or Xbox cloud gaming platform on these devices as well.
On all of them?
Well, yeah, you can on any of them. Yeah. I've never done it personally, but the games that you can play on your Xbox, you can play on your phone. I don't know why you'd want to, because I would want a bigger screen.
Yeah, I would want a bigger screen too. It just doesn't make, for me, it doesn't make sense. I do play some games like, well, I used to play Clash of Clans all the time, and now every now and then I'm on Clash. What is it called? Clash Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clash Royale. I'll do Mario Kart every now and then. And I like to do League of Legends has that tower, has a thing with like, it's kind of weird. It's like you pick your cards, but they're characters, and the characters actually fight. They're not like cards. It's weird. But they have a full game on your cell phone that you could play with. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something, I don't know, dude. Honestly, if I think about gaming and traveling on the go, I would rather bring, like, I still got my PSP.
Mm-hmm.
I have I've already, I don't know if you want to call it unlocked or whatever, but I put it where I could play all types of games on my PSP. You know, and I take that sucker everywhere. You know, people are just like, damn, you still got a PSP? Hell yeah. And that thing works amazing. It looks amazing. Everything's amazing on that thing.
Right. Crazy.
What was that thing you're just gonna show?
Oh, shoot. This one. That's the fan cooler on it.
Is that RGB?
Yeah, RGB.
Oh man. It only has 2 cameras. It sucks.
Oh, come on. The Pixel only have one camera.
Yeah.